Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. I'm Ty Glenn. Hope you guys are having a great day. If you're watching this episode on YouTube, it is a little bit different than how it usually is when I do the Hockey Talk TG podcast, and that's because I'm going to preview the NHL 4 Nations face-off to you guys, and I decided to do this on PowerPoint because it will be a much easier breakdown and what I usually do. Usually I do these kinds of videos for my TG Hockey channel, at least some of them, not all of them. I do these kinds of videos for my TG Hockey channel, and that is where this episode will be at. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, of course, it'll just be like how we usually do on the podcast. So before we go ahead and get started, make sure to follow the Hockey Talk TG podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel so you guys can stay up to date on the latest NHL news, players, teams, stats, and other in-depth analysis that I bring on this podcast. With you guys every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And also, hopefully, everybody enjoyed the Super Bowl. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles on winning the Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, couldn't get it done. I'm not a football person, honest, but I have heard, some people talking about the Eagles winning and stuff. So that's how I knew the Eagles had won the Super Bowl because there was people talking about it, obviously, because football is America's sport. But like I said, I'm not a football person. But since the Super Bowl was on Sunday, just wanted to, bring it up. Anyway, we are going to go ahead and get started. So like I said, it is going to be different if you're watching this episode on YouTube. If you're listening to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, it'll just be like, normal thing. All right, so like I said before, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the Hockey Talk and subscribe to the TG Hockey channel. Also, make sure that you're following the Hockey Talk with TG podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and subscribe to the Hockey Talk with TG podcast YouTube channel. This episode, however, I will not put on the YouTube channel. It's going to be on the TG Hockey channel. And as you guys see here, this is a new cover art I did of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Let me know you guys' thoughts on it. I felt like it was time for a change. So that's why I changed the first cover art to this cover art. It was time for a change and wanted to try something new. And the one that I was using before was more like a generic kind of cover art and didn't have any style whatsoever. So that's why I decided to change it up. And then just now, this cover art right here. And also for the Hockey Talk TG podcast, we're with you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11:30 a.m. to noon Central Time. Not Pacific Time, not Eastern Time. We're with you guys from 11:30 a.m. to noon Central Time. You don't want to get the time zones mixed up. So make sure that you are staying up to date on each episode I put out of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast with you every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 11:30 a.m. to noon Central Time. So that means if you're living in Eastern Time, it's going to start at 12:30 p.m. It's going to end at 1 o'clock p.m. If you're tuning in from the Pacific Time, it's going to start at 9:30 a.m. and it's going to end at 10 o'clock a.m. So just want to put that out there. And obviously, there was no NHL games on Monday and Tuesday. There was also no episode of Hockey Talk with TG podcast on Monday as well. So that's why I didn't put out an episode for Monday. Moving on to the 2025 NHL 4 Nations Face-Off. So the 2025 NHL 4 Nations Face-Off is obviously an international tournament, which is going to be played from February 12th to the 20th, I believe. February 12th to the 20th. And I even have it on there, by the way. I don't know why I said I believe, but it's on there. And obviously, it will replace the NHL All-Star Game. The NHL All-Star Game will return in 2026 at UBS Arena or Nassau Coliseum, one of the Islanders Arena's names. And the teams participating in the Four Nations Face-Off tournament will be Team Canada, Team Finland, Team Sweden, and Team USA. And like I said, this is from February 12th through the 20th, and this will be at the Bell Center in Montreal and at TD Garden in Boston. All right, so this is the tournament structure. So it's going to be a round robin tournament where each team plays 3 games. Point system: 3 points for a regulation win, 2 points for a overtime, a shootout win, 1 point for an overtime, a shootout loss, and no points for a regulation loss. And the top 2 teams will advance to the finals. I don't know why I put 1 game final, but obviously I was looking this up and getting my notes to put together, so that's why I put that. But it's obviously the finals. Taking a look at the 2025 NHL Four Nations Face-Off schedule. So Wednesday, Team Canada will kick things off against Team Sweden at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time on TNT, True TV, and HBO Max. And then Thursday, it will be Team USA going at it against Team Finland at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time on ESPN and ESPN Plus. And then on Saturday, February 15th, it will be Team Finland versus Team Sweden at 12 o'clock p.m. Central Time on ABC and ESPN Plus, followed by Team USA versus Team Canada at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time on ABC and ESPN Plus. And then Monday, February 17th, we shift things from Montreal to the Beantown, Boston, Massachusetts. So this will be at TD Garden. Team Canada will take on Team Finland at 12 o'clock p.m. Central Time on TNT, True TV, and HBO Max. And then on Thursday, February 20th, will be the championship game. And of course, that is to be determined. This will air on ESPN and ESPN Plus. So Canada and Finland will play each other on Monday, the 17th, at TD Garden. And the championship game will also take place at TD Garden, which will be on ESPN and ESPN Plus. All right, so I know Team Canada released their lineups on Monday. Team USA released their lineups, and these are my lineups. Of course, I did have Sidney Crosby, if eligible, to play for the Four Nations. I created this PowerPoint on Sunday, and I didn't know if he was going to play or not until I found out Monday that he's good to go for the Four Nations. So that's why that was there. But anyway, like I said, I know Team Canada released their lineups already for the Four Nations, but I just want to show you guys my lineups for the Four Nations. So first line, I got Braden Point, Connor McDavid, and Mitch Marner. That should be a lot of speed and creativity on that first line right there. Second line, I got the Nova Scotia boys, Brad Marchand, Sidney Crosby, obviously team captain, Team Canada, and Nathan McKinnon. And then third line, Anthony Cirelli, Sam Reinhart, and Brandon Hagel. And then the fourth line, we got Mark Stone, Seth Jarvis, and Travis Konechny. Defense, I got Devon Tage and Cale Makar. Of course, they play on the same pair when they're on the Colorado Avalanche, so why not add it for Team Canada? Second pair, I got Josh Morrissey and Shea Theodore. And then third pair, I got Drew Doughty, who will be replacing Alex Pietrangelo for the Four Nations Face-Off event. And then we got Colton Parayko. Alex Pietrangelo, he wasn't injured, but he, decided that he didn't want to play in the tournament. So he dropped out of the tournament and decided he didn't want to play, but he wasn't injured or nothing, though. Just wanted to let you guys know. And then my starting goalie for the Four Nations tournament for Team Canada, I got Aiden Hill as the starter, Jordan Bennington as the backup, and then Sam Montembeault as the emergency backup goalie. So if anything goes wrong with Aiden Hill, Jordan Bennington, Sam Montembeault will be the emergency backup goaltender. Overall notes for Team Canada, so they're built for speed, skill, and dominance in all 3 zones. And their elite centers, the puck-moving defensemen, make them a nightmare to play against. And they have the ability to shut down top opponents with players like Mark Stone, Anthony Cirelli, and Drew Doughty. And if you take a look at the 4 lines that I have, these are all stacked right here. The 4 lines I just said, these are all stacked. If you're watching this on YouTube, of course, you'll see it. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, you won't be able to see it. But you should take a look at the roster overall when you get a chance. It is very stacked. Okay, so this is my lineup for Team USA. So first line, we got Kyle Connor, Austin Matthews, who of course is going to be rocking the C for the red, white, and blue. And then we got Jack Hughes on that first line. Second line, we got the Kachuk brothers, Brady and Matthew, playing with Jack Eichel. Should be a gritty and physicality. Second line right there. And then third line, we got Matt Boley, Dylan Larkin, and Jake Genso. And then fourth line, we got Vincent Trocheck, JT Miller, and Brock Nelson. So the New York line right there, because, of course, JT Miller is back on the Rangers. Of course, he was traded. He was in that Vancouver Canucks and New York Rangers trade. Of course, Philip Zito no longer on the Rangers. He's on the Canucks now. So JT Miller is playing for the Rangers once again. He's got his buddy, Vincent Trocheck, and then he's got Brock Nelson on that fourth line. Defense, of course, I know Jake Sanderson will replace Quentin Hughes, but I decided to put Brock Faber with Adam Fox on that first defensive pair. I originally had Quentin Hughes and Adam Fox on the first defensive pair, but Quentin Hughes is injured. He will not be playing in the tournament, and Jake Sanderson was his replacement, but I decided to just go with Brock Faber, better defenseman, in my opinion. But let me know you guys' thoughts on that. And in the second pair, we got Zach Werenski and Charlie McAvoy. I think they used to play for the same youth hockey team together. I'm not 100% sure on that one. And then the third pair, we got Jacob Slavin and Noah Hannafin. And, of course, the starting goalies, I got to go with Connor Hellebuck. He's having the best season with the Jets so far, and he's on pace for 50 wins this season. I think he has 37 already, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he has like 37, 38 wins. He's on pace for 50 wins. I don't think no goalie in NHL history has ever reached 50 wins in the season before, but we'll see if Connor Hellebuck becomes the first one. And then, of course, I got Jake Oettinger backing him up. Of course, I have Jake Oettinger on my fantasy hockey team, but between him and Connor Hellebuck, I have to go with Connor Hellebuck as the starter, obviously. And then emergency backup goalie, I have Jeremy Swayman. So that's what it's looking like for Team USA. And then overall, no. So the top 6 forwards are highly skilled with a mix of speed and physicality. Of course, the physicality will come from that second line with the Kachuk brothers and Jack Eichel. And then the speed, of course, will come from Jack Hughes, of course, Austin Matthews. I'm probably not one of the fastest players, but he does have a good shot. So it's a lot of talent on that first line and overall on this USA hockey team. And of course, the bottom 6 will provide defensive reliability and secondary scoring. And the defense pairs are balanced between offensive puck movers and shutdown players. And I'm sorry to say, well, actually, no, I'm not sorry because I'm American. The USA goaltending is arguably the best in this tournament. So it's got to be the best goaltending out of all of the goaltendings in this tournament between them, Canada, Sweden, and Finland. US has the best goaltending heading into this tournament, though. So that's just my thoughts on it. Let me know you guys' thoughts down in the comments below. If you disagree with that reason, but I feel like USA's goaltending is the best goaltending in this tournament. All right, this is my lineup for Team Sweden. So, of course, the first line, we got Philip Forsberg, Mika Zibanejad, and Elias Pettersson. Second line, we got Jesper Bratt, Joe Eriksson Ek, and Lucas Raymond. Third line, we got William Nylander. I almost said William Karlsson, but he's not going to be playing in this tournament. Rickard Rakell is his replacement. But anyway, third line, we got William Nylander, Leo Carlson, and Victor Arvidsson. And in the fourth line, we got Rickard Rakell, Elias Lindholm, and Gustav Nyquist. And defensive pairs, of course, Victor Hedman will be wearing the C for Team Sweden. And he's going to be playing with Rasmus Dahlin. Second pair, we got Erik Karlsson and Matthias Ekholm. And the third pair, we got Jonas Brodin and Gustav Forsling. Goaltenders, my starting goaltender will be Philip Gustafsson for Team Sweden. Linus Ullmark backing him up. I did have Jacob Markstrom as the starting goalie for Team Sweden, but he got injured, and so he was replaced by Samuel Ersson of the Philadelphia Flyers. But I'm still going with Philip Gustafsson as the starting goalie for Team Sweden. Of course, Ullmark is going to be the backup goalie. All right, overall notes for Team Sweden. So strong mix of skill, playmaking and two-way ability for the forward lines. They got an elite defensive core and a mix of offensive and shutdown players. Got high-end goaltending, so the goaltending is good for Sweden as well. I probably shouldn't say high-end. I mean, it's solid. It's solid goaltending. I probably high-end because, like I said, Team USA has the best goaltending in the tournament, so I probably shouldn't have said high-end goaltending. But it's more like solid goaltending for Team Sweden. But USA, of course, is the best goaltending in this tournament. And of course, the leadership from Victor Hedman as captain adds experience and stability for Team Sweden right there. All right, last but not least, this is my lineup for Team Finland. So, of course, the first line, I got Patrick Laine, Alexander Barkov, and Capo Kakko. Second line, I got Mikhail Granlund, Sebastian Aho, Mikko Rantanen. I didn't have Mikko Rantanen originally on the first line, but since he was traded to the Hurricanes by the Avalanche, he's going to be playing with his Finnish buddy, Sebastian Aho, and they need to develop or reignite that chemistry because I think both Sebastian Aho and Mikko Rantanen play for the same World Juniors team, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they used to play for the same World Juniors team, and now they're going to be playing with each other on the Carolina Hurricanes. And so they need to develop some chemistry right away with each other. And that's why I put Mikko Rantanen on the second line with Sebastian Aho and Mikhail Granlund. Originally, I had him on the first line, but because of the reason I just said, with trying to ignite that chemistry with Sebastian Aho since they're teammates on the Carolina Hurricanes, that's why I put him on the second line. Third line, we got Arturi Lehkonen, Rope Henson, Teuvo Teravainen, the only Blackhawks player to be playing in this tournament. And in the fourth line, we got Erik Haula, Anton Lundell, and Joel Armia. First defensive pair, we got Henri Jokiharju. Of course, he's going to be replacing Miro Heiskanen for this tournament. And then we got Rasmus Ristolainen on the first pair. Second pair, we got Esa Lindell and Juuso Valimaki. Third pair, we got Olli Maatta and Euro Vakanainen. Of course, Vakanainen is going to be replacing Yanni Hakanpää in this tournament. So Miro Heiskanen and Yanni Hakanpää are not going to be playing. And so Henri Jokiharju and Euro Vakanainen are their replacements. Starting goaltender, I have to go UC Saul's. Probably one of the best. Well, actually, all these rosters are stacked. Let me just say that. All these rosters are stacked. But for the goalie situation, UC Saul's, in my opinion, is one of the best goalies in this tournament. He is having a rough season with the Nashville Predators. I understand that. But I think that's kind of like a personal problem with him and the Predators. But other than that, I really think he should be the starting goalie for Team Finland in this tournament. And, of course, we got his former Nashville Predators buddy, Kevin Lankinen, backing him up. Of course, Kevin Lankinen used to play for the Nashville Predators, and he used to be the backup goalie for UC Saul's on the Nashville Predators. Now he's going to be the backup goalie to UC Saul's in this Four Nations tournament for Team Finland. And then the emergency backup goalie, I got Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. So that's my lineup for Team Finland. Let me know you guys' thoughts on my lineups overall. What did you think of my lineup for Team Canada, my lineup for Team USA, my lineup for Team Sweden, and my lineup for Team Finland? I always like to hear what you guys, whether you agree or disagree with the stuff I said. Maybe you wanted to add on to what I said before. Maybe it was something that I didn't say that I probably should have said. Just drop it down in the comments. I always like to hear from you guys, whether you agree or disagree with the stuff that I say. All right, overall notes for Team Finland. So, of course, Alexander Barkov, Sebastian Aho, and Rope Hintz give Finland one of the best center groups in the tournament. And, of course, I talked about the Sebastian Aho, Mikko Rantanen chemistry. And this lineup has a strong balance of playmakers and finishers. And like I said before, UC Saul is one of the best goaltenders in this tournament and, probably in the league, despite the Predators' season. And Finland's defense is structure, and players like Esa Lindell and Henri Jokiharju will be key. I wish Miro Heiskanen was playing in this tournament, but he's out with an injury. And, of course, the bottom six forwards play two-way hockey and can wear down opponents. All right. these are my key players and goalies to watch for each team. So, of course, starting off with key players first. Team Canada, I'm gonna have to go Connor McDavid. I was gonna say Sidney Crosby at first. Sidney Crosby could still be a key player for me to watch in this tournament. I probably should have put a dash between Connor McDavid and Sidney Crosby, like I did for Sebastian Aho, Mikko Rantanen. But Connor McDavid, one of the fastest players in the league, won the Conn Smythe Trophy last season. He's going to put on a show in this tournament for Team Canada. Team USA, of course, got Austin Matthews, one of my favorite NHL players as of right now. Going to be wearing the C for Team USA. He's going to step up, excuse me, in that leadership role. And then for Team Finland, we got Sebastian Aho, Mikko Rantanen. I would love to see that chemistry develop early in this tournament since they're going to be playing with each other on the Carolina Hurricanes. So that's why I put both Sebastian Aho and Mikko Rantanen as key players to watch in this tournament. And, of course, the Team Sweden, Filip Forsberg. Filip Forsberg, he's known for his tremendous skill with the puck. I have seen his highlights with the Nashville Predators, and he can certainly dangle you just like that. Got to be careful when he has the puck on his stick. Key goaltenders, of course, for Team Canada. I got Jordan Binnington. Of course, I do have him backing up Aiden Hill. But Jordan Binnington, even though I'm a Blackhawks fan, I hate to say this, but he's one of the best. He's one of my favorite goalies to watch. As a Blackhawks fan, I really did hate saying that, but he's one of my favorite goalies to watch. Of course, in his rookie season, he led the Blues to their first Stanley Cup in franchise history, and he's been in some All-Star games before, and he's going to be playing like an All-Star, sort of, maybe, in this tournament. And then for Team USA, we got Connor Hellebuyck of the Winnipeg Jets. Like I mentioned before, he's on pace for 50 wins this season. I believe he has 37, 38 wins so far with the teams, looking to get 50 before the season's over with. And he's going to be shining for Team USA in this tournament in the crease. And then for Team Finland, I got UC Saros. Of course, I have him as the starting goaltender in this tournament. And despite the Predator season, he's going to be a great goalie to watch in this tournament, of course, for Team Finland in general. And then for Team Sweden, we got Linus Ullmark of the Ottawa Senators. So, of course, I do have him backing up Philip Gustafsson, but, of course, Linus Ullmark's going to come in for Philip Gustafsson and make some key saves right away and, win some games in this tournament. All right, predictions. So, as an American, I have to go with Team Canada taking it all for the Four Nations tournament. Team Canada is going to win this thing in the bag. The runner-ups will be Team USA, but Team Canada is taking home the gold. They will win this tournament. So you guys look at their team. They have a stacked team. All these rosters are stacked, but Team Canada's roster is arguably the best out of the other rosters competing in this tournament. And you should take a look at their power play unit, especially their first power play unit. It is stacked. It's got Sidney Crosby, Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Sam Reinhart, and Cam McCarr playing on that first power play unit. So that's a stacked power play unit, and I wouldn't take penalties if I were the other teams and have those guys come out on the man advantage. But like I said, Team Canada will be taking home this tournament. I believe that they can get it done against Team USA. Like I said, as an American, I have to go with Team Canada for winning this tournament. I believe they're going to get it done. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for this episode of Hockey Talk with TG Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. Leave a comment down below. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the TG Hockey channel. Make sure to follow the Hockey Talk with TG Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio, and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. With you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11:30 a.m. to noon Central Time. Do not get the time zones mixed up. If you're listening to it in Eastern Time, it's from 12:30 p.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. If you're listening to it in Pacific Time, it's from 9:30 a.m. to 10 o'clock a.m. I say this because, of course, different time zones. And, of course, I want you guys at least the people that's not following the Hockey Talk TG podcast, to follow so they can stay up to date on the latest NHL news, teams, players, stats, and other in-depth analysis I bring on this podcast. And like I said at the beginning, this video will be on the TG Hockey channel. If you're watching on YouTube, it will not be on the Hockey Talk TG podcast YouTube channel, but I will put it under the playlist 2024-25 regular season talk with TG. So just head on over to the Hockey Talk TG podcast YouTube channel, and it'll be under that playlist. But nonetheless, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. God first as always. Be blessed. I'll see you guys Friday for another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Take care.